Welcome to Lennar Living. We're here to highlight different cities and communities in Central Texas. I'm standing here in front of the Texas state capitol, which is surprisingly over 14 feet taller than the United States Capitol. Everything is definitely bigger in Texas. Some of our favorite things about living in Austin is that we're the live music capital, we also have great food, and we love the outdoor lifestyle. You are gonna love it. I'm Courtney with Lennar Homes, and we have communities all across Central Texas, but we're here to focus on one today. John, what community are we going to today?
We're headed just 24 miles north of the state capitol, taking 183 to 183A to the city of Leander, Texas, and home of today's community of Bryson.
That was a quick drive from 183, and we're here to meet our friends Ben and Donna to tell us a little bit more about Lennar and Bryson. Hey Ben, come here.
Hi Courtney.
Hey Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. What brings you to Bryson today?
Yeah, we have some friends that have been following us around today in Bryson, and I'm excited because I know you're the end-all be-all for information for us. And you guys have two collections here, right?
We do.
Cool.
So we have the Claremont collection, which is built on 45-foot home sites. It's a great collection if you're a primary home buyer, never bought a home before, or you bought multiple homes in the past and you're looking to downsize your home. So the Claremont collection, the good thing about it, and I love this aspect of it, is that you have no neighbors behind.
Oh, it's so nice. I saw some of the sites when I was driving in, and it looks like a private backyard oasis. No neighbors, lots of green space. Looks great.
Exactly, lots of green space. In the morning you hear birds chirping in the background. Wouldn't you love that?
Oh, that's so great. I love it. And then you also have the Highlands collection, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So the Highlands collection is the larger home sites. They build on almost 50-foot lots, or some could be even bigger. The good thing about the Highlands collection is they have these NextGen homes.
Oh, those are cool. Those are
Yeah,
awesome.
but before I go into the NextGen homes and introduce you to that, let me guide you over to Emily at the backyard, and she'll tell you more about Bryson.
Okay, cool. I'll go say hi to Emily then.
Fantastic.
I'm here in the beautiful community of Bryson that has tons of amenities, but did you know they also have a director of fun? I'm here with Emily who's going to tell us all about it. Emily, what is a director of fun?
So a director of fun's job is to facilitate events, programs, and clubs, and Bryson has all of those things, and it's my job to bring the community together.
That sounds like fun to me. So Bryson has lots of amazing amenities, including a beautiful pool and an awesome fire pit that we just saw. But what other amenities do you have?
So we have a fishing pond, we have a splash pad, a pavilion, and an event lawn, and we have so much more too.
Yeah, you guys have tons. I also, I heard a little rumor that you guys are getting a new park. Is that true?
So we are getting a new park. It's going to have a dog park within it, and a pavilion, a restroom, places to have picnics.
Oh, that's so great. My dog would love it. I'm going to bring him for sure.
Definitely.
So as Director of Fun, you mentioned planning some cool events and unique clubs here in Bryson. What does that entail?
So something we just started is every fourth Friday we have Savory Farmers Market come out from 3 to 7. And you can come and stuff your kitchen with some fresh greens. You can shop local, from candles to jewelry. We even have a food truck that comes out.
Oh, yummy. What's your favorite one?
Anything barbecue.
Of course, we are in Texas. Emily, thanks for spending so much time with us today. But I think we have one more pressing question. What do you think the best things about living in Bryson are?
Oh, so many things, whether it's the amenities, the hiking trails, the events, programs. I think one of the coolest things about Bryson is that the home starts at the beginning of the community.
Yeah.
And when you come in, people are smiling, waving, asking about your day. Everyone knows each other. There's block parties. There are cornhole competitions on every street. So it's just a great place to be.
That's awesome. And that's cool. We have a little friendly competition, but I think it's important to have that community feel. So,
Definitely.
Fantastic. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. I don't know about you, but after exploring Bryson, I'm pretty hungry. So I'm gonna let you guys in on a little family secret, which are my mom's refreshing lemon blueberry cheesecake bars. They've become something of a family tradition on a monthly basis at this point. We love them so much. So we're gonna go with this recipe and let's get started. You're gonna start with a 9x9 baking pan. Make sure you line it with parchment paper, but no need to butter it or grease it. Nothing at all, just the paper is great. We'll set that aside and we're gonna go ahead and start on the little mini wafer cookies for our crust. You may want to add a little bit more than I called for in the recipe in case you decide to eat one. We're gonna go ahead and process these guys. Just pour them in. And if you don't have a food processor, that is a-okay. You guys can always put them in a Ziploc bag, crunch them up with a nice rolling pin, or even some fist power, that works too. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the shortcut and process them out, but we're gonna put this on a nice chop or pulse to get them fine. So we're gonna go ahead and process these. Great, so now that we've chopped up our wafer cookies, I'm gonna check and make sure that it looks nice and fine. We're gonna go ahead and use this here. We're gonna take this little guy out, and we're gonna pour this in. This is kind of the foundation of our crust. Give it a good bang if you have this stick. Great. So again, nice and fine. If you guys don't have a fancy made at home, you can always use a hand mixer or even your fist power again. We don't want to have too much air go into this. So we want this super fine. So that's the base of our crust. And we're gonna put that in. If you don't have a fancy aid mixer at home, that's a-okay too. Just make sure that you use a low speed hand mixer or even your own fist power. We're also gonna start on our butter. And we want this nice and melted. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my 5 tablespoons. I'm gonna cut them up in a little bit smaller pieces to make it an easier, more even melt. But you don't have to. That's just an extra step I like to take. Great. So let's go ahead and get our butter melted here. So if you're a little over precautious like I am, I like to make sure that my butter is melted but not overdone. So kind of in between, I like to give it a nice stir, make sure it's getting that process just the way it's saying. And then I'll pour it in one more time to make sure it's nice and done. Great. So we have our melted butter. We're gonna go ahead and pour that in. I'll lift this up to make it a little bit easier for me, but we wanna make sure that's nice and even. Get all that melted butter in. It already smells good. It's got like a sugary butter smell happening in here. I'll go ahead and put that down. And then lastly, we're gonna add our bit of sugar. So go ahead and take your sugar. Same thing, you're gonna sprinkle that in. And then I'm gonna turn this bad boy on and get him going at a nice, slow pace. So while our crust is stirring, we want to make sure that all the sides and the bottoms are definitely getting mixed in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a nice spatula here. Try getting it in between, making sure that everything's getting pushed down and gets blended up. You kind of hear a really relaxing noise. Again, it kind of reminds me of a sandcastle. That means you got the right texture. I'm gonna give that one more stir and clean up my kitchen a little bit while I'm at it. So this is looking great, guys. This is the perfect texture. We're all done here. Now that this is good to go, it's all mixed in. A perfect amount of moistness and softness happening here. I'm gonna pour that into our lined pan. Make sure you spread it around kind of evenly. We're about to get our fingers a little bit dirty, but it'll make it an easier process for us if we have an even base to go with. Now that we're in here, again, we're gonna even that out. Just spread it a bit before we get our hands dirty, make it a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you do want a nice even layer here on your base. This is my favorite part though. The wafer cookies make such a difference compared to typical graham cracker recipes. Great, so we have our crust layer in here, and now that everything looks basically even with our spatula as much as we can do, we're gonna get our hands dirty. You're really gonna just press your hand in there and get the crust squeezed in as much as possible. You don't need any up on the sides, this is all going at the bottom of the cheesecake bars. But this is definitely my favorite bite of the cheesecake. The wafer cookies make such a difference in this recipe versus a traditional graham cracker crust. I promise you're gonna love it. It's everyone's raving review after they eat these. So now that our crust is pretty much compacted in there, looks fairly even, you put your little touch of love in there. We're gonna throw this in the oven that we've preheated at 325. That's gonna go in there for about 4 to 5 minutes just to give it a little pre-crisp before we add the filling. So we're gonna put our pan in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how hot your oven runs. So we pulled our crust out, now it's cooling, and we're gonna go ahead and add the cream cheese. So you have your packets here. We're gonna definitely use all of the contents inside, so I like to use a knife and split this up a little bit, make it easy to mix in. And then with your cream cheese, you definitely want to make sure that it's softened ahead of time. So that way it's a little bit easier to blend. You get a nice smooth mixture that also smells delicious when we're done with it. So I'm going to do my second pack here. We're going to chop that in just to make it nice and easy for our blending. Okay, so now that we've added all of our cream cheese, we're gonna add the sugar. We're gonna pour that around before we get to mixing. So we're also gonna add our vanilla here, which you wanna use real vanilla extract. You don't wanna use imitation. Definitely will make the flavor a lot better. Great, so we're gonna take our lemons and add a little bit of lemon zest. And if you'd like to add a little bit more than the recipe calls for, that's great too. I personally do like a little bit more on the lemon side. So I like to add quite a bit of zest here. Everyone, when life throws you lemons, you just use them, right? Great, so I like to add a little bit of zest, a lot of zest, whatever you think is right. But it's gonna look nice and fresh in there as you're zesting your lemons. Great, so that's gonna have lots of lemon pizzazz. Now we're gonna juice our lemons. Great, so you're gonna add lemon juice from our 2 lemons. And if you get lots of side spray, that's okay too, it's just giving you some flavor as well. So I'm gonna dump that in, make sure I get lots. And if you find that your lemons aren't squeezing as easily, that's okay. You can also roll and kind of pound them a little bit. You can even stick them in the microwave for a second. Next, I'm gonna add my eggs. And I like to crack mine in a little bowl first, just to make sure everything looks clean. If you got a shell out like I did, you can pull it out. Looks great. We're gonna hold off these to the side just for a second and we're gonna go ahead and start our mix. So we wanna do a nice slow speed here. We don't want too much air to get into the filling. And you're gonna notice it's all gooping together, and in a second, it'll turn smooth. And while you're waiting for your mix to really go in, definitely check it as it goes to make sure that the sides and the bottom really get scraped in together. So in a second, I'll take my spatula, wipe down the sides really good and the bottoms and make sure it's all evenly mixed. So this is where I do my midpoint check, just to make sure everything is getting evenly mixed like I mentioned. We can see some of our lemon zest is still really showing up, which is pretty definitely refreshing. But we want to make sure those all are getting mixed in well. So now that we're done with mixing our batter, I've grabbed our fresh blueberries, which are also very yummy. And we're gonna go ahead and put it in our crust pan. So take your batter, really make sure it's all in there so you don't miss any of the goodies. So we're gonna say that's all in. We have a nice kind of loose mixture here, and we're gonna pour it in the pan, which I'm really excited about because that means that we're almost done with our mix here. And because it's got that cream cheese, it's gonna be a little bit heavier of a mix. So I'm gonna use my spatula for assistance to really get it all in there. So as we're pouring this mixture in here, you may notice that you still have some of those little lumps, and that's okay. That's gonna bake right out when the cream cheese gets fully melted in the oven. That looks pretty good to me. So we finished pouring in the mixture. I've made sure it's nice and even. Again, don't worry about those lumps. And now we're gonna add our fresh blueberries. If you're a little more organized like I am, you may like straight lines. But if you don't, that doesn't have to happen either. You're gonna drop them in. You may notice as they start getting dropped in that they sink in a little bit, and that's okay. That's perfect. Just what we want. So I love snacking on the blueberries as I drop them in my little lines here. And later on, these will be little bars. So if you do want them to line up equally so you can cut easier later on, that's fine too. So this looks ready and beautiful to me. We're gonna put it in the oven for about 35 minutes, maybe a little less if your oven runs hot. Can't wait, they're gonna be really tasty. Okay, our timer's just gone off, so we're gonna get our cheesecake bars out of the oven. And when you check your cheesecake bars to make sure that they're done, you should be able to tap the sides a little bit and get a tiny bit of a jiggle, natural movement in the middle, just to make sure that they're nice and finished. If you have any browning along the edges, that does mean they're a little bit overdone, so make sure you pull them out before that happens. Now that our cheesecake bars are out of the oven, we're gonna let them completely cool before we let them set in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours. Can't wait, they're gonna be really tasty. We let our cheesecake bars cool, so now they're ready to serve. Let's cut them up into little squares. Okay, our cheesecake bars are done, and it's been a great experience cooking in this beautiful Lennar kitchen. Time to head out and find out a little bit more about what Bryson has to offer. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take a little snacky back here. Oh yeah, definitely delicious.
Guys, this is the home I was telling you about, the NextGen home, a home within a home. Lennar is the only builder in Bryson that offers this plan. Whether you have older kids coming back from college, grandparents staying with you for a long period of time, or just a home office and study, this is the perfect plan for you. I have Courtney out here who will introduce this beautiful home plan to you.
Wow, so in addition to this awesome kitchenette, I also love this space in here. And Ben talked about it. It could be a home office, it could be a classroom for your kids, it could also be a personal fitness center, which is amazing. Definitely would love to have that kind of space in my home. We also have an extra bathroom up back here. So really nice walk-in shower, crisp and clean in there. And one of the best parts about this plan is the stackable washer and dryer. I don't know of another plan that offers this type of variety in your home. And we also have an extra bedroom in here. So in addition to a bedroom, you can make this another study, another home office, whatever you need it for, it's yours. But Donna is going to tell us a little bit more about that and the everything's included promise.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Courtney. With Lennar's Everything's Included promise, you know exactly what's in your home before you leave today. Things like solid surface countertops, front and rear sod and irrigation, and blinds throughout your home. Here at Lennar, Everything's Included is more than what you see. It's also about how you live.
Lennar is here to keep you connected to the world. So check out these awesome technologies that are included. There are 6 components of the connected home. The Ring Video Doorbell and Alarm Security Kit, the Eero Pro 6 Mesh Wi-Fi system, the world's first invisible smart lock by level, MyQ Smart Garage Control, Honeywell Home Smart Thermostat, and Flow by Moen Smart Water Shutoff.
As you can see, the Connected Home by Lennar has so much to offer, just like this amazing community.
We had an incredible time exploring Leander and the community of Bryson, and I had stumbled upon this beautiful trail while I was out exploring the community. Hopefully you're able to explore a little bit more too in an area that we call home on this episode of Lennar Living in Central Texas. See you next time.